Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanachatam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saguna Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kankana Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachanam pangam langyati girim yat kripatamam vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Parmanandam Madhavam. So we were at the beginning of the katha where Mother Yashoda, she has gotten up early in the morning and she is churning the yogurt for butter, and then while she is churning, she is thinking about Krishna, she is singing about him, and then with her hands she is working for Krishna. So, exemplifying the mood of a devotee, of dedicating body and words and mind to the service of Krishna. So we now move on to the fourth verse. Who's doing the recitation of the fourth verse? Okay, please go ahead.
I think there's no Wi-Fi. Or do you have whichever phone has
Just
Wi-Fi?
take.
Sorry, this one. Okay, it's open. It's opened up now. Tam stanya kama asadya matnantim jananim harihi gruhat itva dadhi manthanam nashedhat pritimavahan. Translation: While Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breast, appeared before her, and in order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning.
So this was early morning, Krishna was sleeping and he gets up. So he gets up and finds that Yashoda Mai is not next to him. So one of the things that children expect is to find the mother in the bed when they get up. Both when they go to sleep and they get up. They want the mothers on the side. So he's a little disturbed. And again, the other thing is that he wants to drink the milk. So the acharyas say that this is Krishna, that he is sleeping deep in his yoga nidra as Mahavishnu. But when he is attracted by the service that his devotees are rendering to him, then he gives up his sleep and he rushes to them. Sukadeva Goswami says, Stanya Kama. that desiring to drink the milk of the breast of Mother Yashoda. Now, what is it that the Lord is lacking? Nothing. Right? It is a Nityo Nityanam, Chetana Chetnanam, Eko Bhavanam Yo Vidati Kaman. That He is the one, Eko Bhavanam Yo Vidati Kaman. He is the one who is fulfilling the desires of everyone. He is Atmaram. Atmaram means that desireless, fully self-sufficient. It doesn't really mean desireless. What it means is that he is capable of fulfilling all his desires by himself. Atma. So he does not depend on anybody else. And yet, Sukdev Goswami says Kama. Kam means, like we know Kama, Krodha, Mad, Mohan. Like Kam means lust. He is desiring to drink the milk. So there is only one thing that the Lord lacks, that he desires for. And can you take a guess? What is it that he lacks? Our love. So that is the only one thing that we have that the Lord does not possess. Our love for him. So when he sees this love blossoming in the heart of a devotee, then he gives up his yoga nidra. He gives up his neutrality. Like Krishna keeps saying, I'm neutral. But at that point, he gives up all his neutrality, and on his own accord, he rushes over there. So, there are other times also where Krishna has rushed to his devotees. Like when Draupadi called him, and he rushed to her. He was with Satyabhama at the time, and they were playing a game of board, and then Satyabhama noticed that he was not able to concentrate. She said, "What's going on?" And she said, one of my dear devotees is calling me, I have to go. And this was when Draupadi was being disrobed. What are the other times when Krishna has rushed to the side of his devotees? What is one highly celebrated time? Gajendra is there. One other time that is highly celebrated.
Saving Parikshit and the womb of Uttara.
Saying Parikshit in the Mura Uttara, Prahlad Maharaj. Right? He rushed to the side of Prahlad Maharaj. But there's a difference between that and this. What's the difference? There Krishna is rushing to give protection. Here Krishna is rushing to take protection. So he's not rushing to save Mother Yashoda or to protect her. He is rushing to her to saying that Maya, take care of me. I'm hungry. That's the mode that you can only see in Braj, where Krishna rushes to take protection. So there are devotees who have this mood that I am Krishna's, right? So it is called Tadiya. Tadiya means that I belong to Krishna. Devotees like Draupadi and Gajendra and Prahlad Maharaj. But then there are devotees who have this mamatva. Krishna belongs to me. So when they have that mode, then they try to... there's an echo coming from there, right? Is there an echo coming?
There was an echo. That's okay.
So when they have that mode, then they're constantly thinking about the needs of Krishna. Is Krishna hungry? Is he thirsty? Is he tired? Does he need to take a bath? Right? So in Vraj we do see Brajvasis, when they are in difficulty, they ask Krishna for protection. But that is in conjunction with their sthai bhav. Their sthai bhav is, I need to protect Krishna. Not just Yashoda and Nanda Baba. The general mood of the residents in Braj is, I need to protect Krishna. And because of their intense love for Krishna, when they are in anxiety, extreme anxiety, then they also reach out to Krishna. So Sukadeva Goswami says here that Krishna, he came and he sees his mother churning the butter with the rod, and then he reaches out and stops. He puts his hand on the rod and stops the churning. So Mother Yashoda is very happy. She is happy at two things. One, that my little son is now so strong that he is able to reach out and grasp the rod and prevent it from churning. And the second, that he is so intelligent that he has discerned the most critical point of the whole activity and stopped it from there. Because he could have held his mother's hand, or he could have tried to hold the rope, or he could have tried to hold the pot, but he doesn't do any of that. The fulcrum of the whole thing is the rod that is churning. So he reaches out and grasps that rod and stops it. And there are several understandings of why did Krishna hold the rod to stop its churning. One understanding is that the rod represents the churning of various grades of devotees. So those who are sadhana bhaktas, the rod represents their churning of sadhana. Get up at Mangalarti, chant your rounds, read the Bhagavatam, serve the deities, do Vaishnav Seva, take some rest, get up in the morning, do Mangalarti. That's the churning that's going on. And then Krishna, he reaches out and holds the rod saying, Bas. You have practiced the rules and regulations of bhakti long enough. Time for you to come to me in spontaneous devotion. Now, does not mean that after hearing this we give up our sadhana practices and start spontaneously interacting with Krishna. But when we are ready. So Krishna does not want us to stay as sadhakas always, right? Sadhana Vaidhi Bhakti is a step towards Raga Bhakti. Raga Bhakti is a step towards Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti is a step towards Prema Bhakti, right? So does not want us to just stay sadhakas all our life. Essentially, does not want us to make bhakti mechanical. Right? That's how, after some time, for some devotees it becomes mechanical. Chant my rounds, do deity worship, read a little bit, chant my rounds, do deity worship. Right? This becomes mechanical over a way. Krishna is saying, no, stop this mechanical execution of bhakti. Time for you to experience the ecstasy of bhakti. Then to the Jnanis, his message is that you have been churning the Vedas with the mind, with the rod of your mind, and all that you're getting is parishrama. All that you're getting is basically perspiration and tiredness. Time for you to stop that churning of the Vedas. To the yogis, He's saying that you have been using the rod of your body to perform austerities, meditation. Time to stop that. And to the karmis, he is saying that you have been churning this karma-kanda for superficial enjoyment. Time for you to stop that churning. So, Sukadeva Goswami says, Niyashad. Niyashad means forbid. That he stops it. He stops the churning of the Lord. Another meaning of Krishna stopping the churning of the rod is actually explained in Bhagavad Gita. The famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, Sardam Pratyaje Mamekam Sharanam Braj. So there is an imputed conversation over here that Krishna says that stop all these material activities that you're doing. And the devotee says, how can I stop all these activities? Because I would then be guilty of neglecting my duties. And because of the sins of neglecting my duties, when I die, then the Yamadutas, they have a stick in their hand, which is called Yamadanda. And with that they will beat me. So Krishna says that when they see that it is my hand that stopped this churning of dharma, kam, moksha, then they dare not raise their danda against you. So essentially Krishna is portraying the message of the Bhagavad Gita, that give up all varieties of religion and surrender unto me, where the churning rod is representing the churning of the various aspects of dharma. So by this age, as mentioned, that Krishna is little over 3 years, he had displayed some of his opulences by killing some demons. He had displayed his universal form within his mouth to Yashoda Mai. So Krishna is also saying to his mother that you already know my opulence. You already know that I am the personality of Godhead. So why are you still indulging in this churning activities? So the nature of churning is that it agitates. It just puts things move around the same place, but it creates a lot of agitation. It's not like flowing. Flowing, you go from one place to another. Agitation, it just stays over there. It just whirls around. So the point that is being made by Krishna is, and this is not really to Mother Yashoda, it's more to us. He's saying that if you know my position as the personality of Godhead, and if you are executing devotional service, then it is quite possible that because of past conditioning, you will still continue to churn in the cycle of karma, doing materialistic activities. But if you continue to execute bhakti, then I personally will come and stop that churning. Just like he is stopping the churning of his mother. So in this verse, Sukadeva Goswami describes Krishna as Hari. So what does Hari mean?
One who takes away.
And one who takes away. In this verse, though, the meaning of Hari is a little different. So here it is the devotees who have taken away the mind of Krishna. So it's the devotees who are Hari. That they have stolen the mind of Krishna. Why? Because the person who is fully self-sufficient, who is the provider for everybody and everything, Stan Nikam, is now agitated. He is agitated for the love of the devotion in the heart of his devotees. He has given up his tranquility. He has given up his Yoga Nidra. Who has stolen all that away from Krishna? His pure devotees. So, in this pastime what we will see that so Krishna is famous as replete with opulences. Right? He has so many upadhis. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu, Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham. Like he is Mahavishnu, Veeram, Atmaram. And one by one, Mother Yashoda will take away all the upadhis from him. She is the Hari over here. That she will take away each and every upadhi away from Krishna. So the glorification, it is difficult for us to conceive the glories of Mother Yashoda. That infinitely greater than the Brahman is Paramatma. Infinitely greater than Paramatma is Vaikuntha, Vishnu. Greater than Vaikuntha Vishnu is Lord Ram. Greater than Lord Ram is Krishna living in Dwarkadish. Greater than Krishna living in Dwarkadish is Krishna living in Mathura. Greater than Krishna living in Mathura is Krishna living in Braja. Greater than Krishna living in Braja is Bal Gopal. That Bal Gopal is now hankering after the milk of Mother Yashoda. That gives us a glimpse into the greatness of Mother Yashoda. After hearing this, how can we aspire to become Mother Yashoda? The only aspiration that we can have is somehow or else we can
Become a servant.
be a servant of a servant of the servant of Mother Yashoda. Okay, we move on to the next verse, verse 5.
Tam ankam arudam apayayat stanam sneha snutam sa smitam ikshati mukham atripta utrishja javena sa yayam utsi chavane payasi tva adhir Adhishrite. Sorry. Adhishrite. Translation. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowed him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. Although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast.
So the plot thickens. Like so far it was just Krishna aspiring to drink his mother's milk, but now we see that there are certain detours that are coming. So Krishna goes to his mother stops the churning of the milk. Now, Mother Yashoda does not pick up Krishna and put him on her lap. He does it himself. He puts one foot on her knee, he catches hold of her hips, and he gets into the what's the right word? He gets into the lap of Mother Yashoda. So when a devotee is executing devotional service, they have no aspirations for any grandeur, that I'll dance with Krishna, or when will Krishna come and take me by my hand back to the spiritual world. All their aspiration is to continue to serve Krishna. Krishna will himself force himself into the heart of the devotee. Devotee does not have to ask, Krishna, please come to my heart, Krishna, please come into my life. All that Mother Yashoda was doing was, she was churning the butter for Krishna. She does not even reach out to pick him up. She is so busy serving Krishna. She does not even reach out to pick him up. But Krishna himself, forcibly, he enters into the lap of Mother Yashoda. So if a devotee is simply serving Krishna, then Krishna's entrance into your heart is so strong that you don't even have to aspire for it, and you can't even protect yourself against it. Right? There is this I forget who the poet is, but he says, I think Bivamangala Thakur, he says that you better don't go to Vrindavan. And if you go to Vrindavan, you better don't go to the banks of river Yamuna.
Isn't that Rupa Goswami?
Hmm?
That's Rupa Goswami.
Is Rupa Goswami?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's why Rupa Goswami.
not sure. And then he says, you better not go to this place. And he says, why? Because there is this dark complexion boy over there. And he will come and he will steal everything that you have, beginning with your mind. So, as a devotee is executing bhakti, then the aspirations for a practicing devotee is opportunity to serve Krishna. So, they don't have to go and ask that, Krishna, when are you going to come and hold me by my hand and take me through the pleasure groves of Vrindavan? Right? Their only aspiration is, how can I serve Krishna? And Krishna will force himself into the heart of such a devotee. So we see here that Mother Yashoda is now feeding Krishna. In fact, the Acharya said that Mother Yashoda, Krishna gets onto her lap, he opens her choli, takes her breast and begins to drink the milk. That is the mood of proprietousness that Krishna has on the life of his devotees. That everything that is of his devotees, he considers it to be like his own. He would fearlessly move around in Braj and steal everybody's butter. And anybody who would say, why are you stealing butter? He would say, you are stealing my butter. Because he firmly believed that this is all his. Now he does not do that with non-devotees. Right? With non-devotees, he is very pakka. This is what you have, this is what belongs to you, I can't touch it, it's yours. So we can relate to that mode, right? If I go to a friend's house that I have a formal relationship with, then I will just stay within the confines of what is being offered to me. But if I come to one that I am informal with, It's like Seema came, gave me water, I said, give me tea. Right? So I can ask for things without hesitation. Right? Because I have that sense that there is affection over here. Krishna has that sense that he when he wanted to preach Bhagavad Gita, he didn't put Duryodhana under illusion. Right? Duryodhana needed Bhagavad Gita more than Arjuna did. Right? He didn't go to Duryodhana and start preaching to him. He went to Arjuna and he put Arjuna into illusion. Now poor Arjuna, now everybody reads Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, Arjuna was suffering from false compassion and he was bewildered. And Arjuna is a pure devotee, not possible for him to be that. So he must be saying, Krishna, what did you do? Right? For posterity, everybody thinks that I'm confused, I don't know my duty, I don't know my relationship with you, and that's why I was doing like that. Krishna says, don't worry. Right? So you did it as a service to me. So he took away the mental equilibrium of Arjuna. He didn't ask him, Arjuna, can I do this? So he, on his own accord, began to drink the milk of his mother. So the devotees by nature are Premananda. That they are full of the ecstasy of the love of Krishna. And Krishna by nature is Lilananda. That he takes pleasure in enacting pastimes. When Lilananda and Premananda collide, then Paramananda comes. So when the devotees of the Lord desiring to serve the Lord, and when the Lord desiring to enact pastimes with the devotees come together, then there is an explosion of bliss. And who tastes that bliss? We do. The explosion of the bliss is so potent that it reaches out millions and millions of years. It reaches our contaminated consciousness. Time is not that big a barrier. Our consciousness is a bigger barrier. It even breaches that. And it enters our heart. That's why Krishna, he enacts his wonderful pastimes. So Krishna had stopped one service of Mother Yashoda and engaged her in another service. Right? So what was she doing earlier on? She was churning butter. Now she is feeding Krishna. One service was in the absence of Krishna. The other service is in the presence of Krishna. For the devotees, they're both the same. It's not that if they're personally rendering Krishna is right in front of them, then the service is considered to be higher quality service, better service. Service is service. Right? Prabhupada would make this point often of Vapu and Vani. Right? That Vani is more powerful than Vapu. Right? Following instructions is more important than personal association. Similar mode over here. That both the services Mother Yashoda was doing equally potent. First was a little bit more potent because it attracted the mind of Krishna. And he came rushing to the lap of Mother Yashoda. Now, Krishna is on the lap of Mother Yashoda drinking her milk. Mother Yashoda is looking at Krishna and full of love for him. So the milk in her breast is not stopping and Krishna is not getting tired of drinking the milk. Now a third character enters into the plot, which is
Boiling milk.
the milk on the
Stove.
on the pot. So Mother Yashoda, like any efficient housewife, she was multitasking. So while she was churning the milk, she had taken, you remember I talked about the pushpagandha, the cows, and she wanted to boil the milk and then make yogurt out of it, churn it and make special butter for Krishna because he was stealing butter. So while she was churning, she put the milk on the pot. The milk was heating. Now that milk is thinking that Yashoda's milk will never stop, and Krishna will never stop to enjoy that milk. So there is no scope for him using us. So we have been sitting on this fire performing austerities. That one day Krishna will come and allow us to serve him. But doesn't look like it's going to happen. So what is the point in our existence over here? Best thing for us now is to commit suicide. So they start boiling over and entering into the fire. So Acharya say that the milk was, so there's something called ufan. Ufan is the milk starts becoming a bubble. The milk didn't really fall into the fire, but it was whooshing, bubbling over, getting ready to fall into the fire. So Mother Yashoda hears that, and different understandings of this incident. So Hariswari Prabhu says that the milk in the pot and the milk that Mother Yashoda was feeding, they're both milk. They're brothers. He says they're Guru Bhai. They're God brothers. Because both of them are serving Krishna. Sometimes it happens that one God brother makes more advancement than other. One God brother gets more opportunity to serve Guru and Krishna than the other. The other God brother starts burning with envy and thinks that we are both the same. But he is getting more opportunities to serve. Guru Maharaj comes, he calls him by name and says, can you do this for me? So what's the point in my being in spiritual life? Let me let me do suicide over here. What does Krishna do in that case? He sends his devotee to rescue. So Yashoda Mai would have never heard the milk getting ready to boil over. That's not possible because she was so absorbed in appreciating Krishna in her lap that she had lost all external consciousness. It is Krishna who from within inspires her. There is milk on the stove that is getting ready to boil over. And then she said, oh, okay, there's milk. And then she puts Krishna down and rushes to take the milk off the stove. So when devotees are suffering this kind of envy, Krishna sends another devotee to rescue them. He sends one who is more intimate to him, who's more close, who's more advanced, and says that this devotee is having some problem. Whether it is envy for other devotees, whether it is difficulty in the spiritual life, whether it is material contamination, Krishna quickly sends, and the other devotee, so Yashoda Mai, ran. How important is this service? Yashoda Mai put away Krishna and ran. So the other devotee may be serving Krishna to the best of his satisfaction. But even more important than that is to rescue a devotee who's having difficulty. That is so much attachment that Krishna has for his devotees. I see. So that is so much of attachment that Krishna has for his devotees, that even somebody who is completely absorbed in his service, even somebody whose service Krishna is completely absorbed in, when he sees another devotee in difficulty, the milk on the pot is envious. So Jiva Goswami says that in the spiritual world everything is sentient, right? Satchitanand. So it is eternal, it's sentient and full of bliss. At this point that milk is not full of bliss, but it's sentient, which means that it's a person. It's a person, and the person is fully conscious and having difficulties, thinking that my service, this sense of my service is important, and I was performing austerities, I was being heated on this fire, and so much disappointing that I can't serve Krishna. So that mood of the service being more directed towards how I am feeling, how I should feel. Krishna, he says to Mother Yashoda, don't worry about me. And don't worry about your own satisfaction. Go and rescue the milk over there. So, Sukdev Goswami says over here, Uchyamana Prayasi. So, saying that the milk was not really falling into the fire. Prayasi means was trying to fall into the fire. So, in a way, this is also the mood of a devotee who is in some kind of difficulty. So why was the milk trying to fall into the fire? That maybe I will get the attention of Mother Yashoda. Right? So it's also the mood of a aspiring devotee that if there is some difficulty, then the last thing that the devotee should do is to isolate himself. What should he do? Reach out. So this is what the reaching out of the milk was. That let me go whoosh, and then Mother Yashoda will come and rescue us. So it's not that and the milk did not fall into the fire. Hariswari says that when the milk saw that Mother Yashoda put down Krishna and came towards it, it became very ashamed of itself and it settled down back, because then it got a sense of that just because I was so puffed up, right? It was puffing up. So just because I was so puffed up that I thought my service is better, I interrupted the service of another devotee. So shame on me. So with that humiliation, it went down there. So Srila Prabhupada in this notes that several things. One of the things that he notes is that in the life of a devotee, there are many competing demands for service. Like Mother Yashoda, she's churning the yogurt, she's boiling the milk, she's feeding Krishna. So the devotee should expect that. And how do they resolve that which of this service is more important than the other one? They resolve it by understanding that which is the most pleasing to Guru and Krishna. They don't resolve it by thinking that which is most convenient to me or which is most pleasing to me. Right? So if somebody takes pleasure in artwork, but the need of the time is somebody needs to clean the bathroom, that's the service that becomes important. Person should not say I'm an artist, that I can paint the bathroom, but not going to clean the bathroom, right? So the service that is needed at that time is the most important service. Not the service that you want to do. Not the service that you're good at. Important point. Not the service that you're good at. The milk was special milk. That was a speciality. That the Pushpagandha cows, their milk was the specialist of the special. They ate fragrant grass. They were special cows. Their bodies were fragrant. So that was the speciality of the milk. Doesn't matter. What is important is the service that is needed at the time. Now, in this case, of course, Krishna does not appreciate the Mother Yashoda's choice of options. He doesn't, even though internally he is inspiring Mother Yashoda to go, but externally he does not appreciate the fact that she has put him down to rescue milk. So we'll see what Krishna does next. So, Priyanka, you had a point to make?
So, Prabhu, I was just thinking, as attempting or as aspiring devotees, when we get a situation or opportunity in our life to seek shelter from a guru, is that analogous to Krishna trying to rescue us from the suicide that you were, mentioning? And if so, how should we see that? Should that give us a reassurance that Krishna is? Because if that is the situation, then we can feel Krishna's presence in our life, right? Which we otherwise don't typically feel.
So your question is that if someone is experiencing a desire to take shelter of a spiritual master, is that a reflection of Krishna's mercy?
Right.
Yes, absolutely. This is a strong manifestation of Krishna's mercy, and Krishna's mercy comes in both ways. Like he will send this desire in your heart. He will also send a spiritual master for you, right? It's not that he will leave you high and dry, that you're feeling thirsty but there's no water. When he makes you feel thirsty, he will also send water to you. So yes, so it's a symptom, and the stronger our desire is, the stronger is our understanding that Krishna is saying, I'm waiting, come back. Okay, so we'll move to the next verse, verse 6.
Sanjatakopa spurita anurandam sandasya dadhvidhananta bhajanam bitvam drishashul drishat asmana raho jagasya hayangvam antaram gataha. Translation: being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. Then he entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place.
So, not very happy. And Krishna says that I have all this opulence in Vaikuntha. I have the goddess of fortunes waiting on me head and feet, ready to serve me. And you have left me hungry? How dare you do that? Do you know who I am? That there is the Golok planet in the spiritual world, where the Surabhi cows, they produce so much milk that there is an ocean of milk. I have left that ocean of milk to come into your lap. And you're not giving me little bit milk? that I want. So Krishna says, I have to get even with you. What does he do? He takes a stone and he breaks the pot of yogurt that Yashoda Maya was churning. He hits the pot at the bottom. Why? Because if he hits it at the top, then the whole yogurt will spill with a big noise. And Mother Yashoda will come back and beat him. So very expertly he takes the stone and hits it at the bottom of the pot. And all the yogurt, it spills out. So what's, as a child, so children by nature are expert at annoying their parents. Right? So they know very well that what is the one thing that will annoy the parent the most. Why do they know it? Because they've been learning from the womb. Right? Even before they were born, they were learning. So they know exactly what is going to make my mother the most upset. Now in this case, his mother's most attachment is serving Krishna. That yogurt that she is churning is for Krishna. So in a perverse way, he's interrupting his own service, but he's not thinking that far. He's thinking that she's churning this yogurt, and by breaking this pot, I will make her most angry. So he breaks the pot. So Dadi Manta Bhajanam, first activity that he does there. And so we have so far been trying to also extract the messages from the pastime. So what's the message from this? Is Krishna a vengeful God? That if his service is interrupted, then he destroys everything. Right? So far Mother Yashoda is serving him with so much love and affection. Now he sees that his service is interrupted and he is breaking her pots. So one might think, is that the message? That Krishna is a vengeful God, he's an angry God. So if you look at it, Krishna is not punishing Yashoda. He's punishing himself. If he was upset with Mother Yashoda, he would have thrown a stone at her. Right? Of course, he would have gotten beaten after that. But really speaking, if he was upset with Mother Yashoda, he would have thrown a stone at her. He does not. He throws the stone at the pot of yogurt. So Krishna is not that kind of a God who gets upset at you, especially at his devotees. Like Krishna says that if one renders a little bit of bhakti to me, I preserve that. Not only do I preserve that, I carry what they lack. So lacking means that part, that aspect of the devotional service is against Krishna. He says, don't worry about that. I will take care of that also. That's the nature of Krishna. So far, what all has Yashoda Mai succeeded in accomplishing? She has made Mahavishnu Lagu Vishnu. Right? So from being the personality in whose body the entire universe is, not just our universe, but millions and billions of universes are residing in the body of Mahavishnu. That Mahavishnu was lying in the lap of Mother Yashoda. So Hariswari says that from Mahalakshmi, so Lagu means small. So Hariswari says that Mahavishnu has been made Lagu Vishnu by Mother Yashoda, one upadi taken away. Then Krishna says, I am Atmaram. I am fully self-satisfied. Same Krishna, Sthan Kamya, desiring to drink the milk of Mother Yashoda. Then Krishna says that I am completely equipoised. I don't give in to happiness or distress, anger. I'm completely calm. Same Krishna now in anger is throwing stones at pots. Right? So one of the injunctions that are given to devotees who are aspiring to make advancement is Sarvapadi Vinirmukta Tattatvena Nirmala. That in order to become a devotee of the Lord, Sarvapadi Vinirmukta, that you give up all your upadhis. And here there is Mother Yashoda who is telling Krishna Sarvapadi Vinirmukta, that now you give up all your upadhis. What will be left after Krishna gives up all his upadhis? Just the Lala of Mother Yashoda. That's what she sees him as. She does not see him as Mahavishnu. She does not see him as Parmeshwaram. She does not even see him as Bhagwan. She just says that this is my Lala. In this battle between Krishna and Mother Yashoda always wins. Krishna is one who is Achyuta. Can never be defeated. Always defeated by Mother Yashoda. But it's so glorious that Krishna himself makes this pastime. He takes the name Damodar. He says, my mother increases my fame. Even though all that she is doing is, she is taking away his fame. He is saying, this Mahavishnu is sitting on my lap. This person who is supposed to be equipoised is now running around angry like. But Krishna is so much in love with his devotees, he even takes pleasure in that. So what else is Krishna doing? Krishna is, it says that with great anger, Krishna, he clenches his lower lips under his teeth. Spurta Aruna Adhara. Because his lips were trembling with anger. So angry that I have left my Vaikuntha to come to you and you are not even feeding me. I am dying of hunger. You are not taking care of me. So his lips are trembling. And he is clenching it with his teeth. So Krishna's lips are red in color, which is more a passion. And Krishna's teeth are white. So white is the sign of more of goodness. So Krishna is trying to get the lower modes under the control of the higher modes. When he is clenching his lips with his teeth, he is trying to establish the superiority of the mode of goodness with the mode of over the mode of passion. But teeth are also mode of ignorance. Because what do the teeth do? They bite, they tear. Ultimately what is happening in case of Krishna, the mode of ignorance is taking control. Of course Krishna is transcendental, but for the sake of the pastime, Krishna is trying to control his anger, but the anger actually takes control of Krishna. So the mood of Krishna is that from his calm, right, Sthanikama, from his calm came Krodha. He desired to drink the milk of Krishna. Like in Bhagavad Gita, there's that verse, right? Kamat Krodha Vijayate. That it begins with lust. And when lust is not fulfilled, then anger comes. Right? And after anger, what is appearing in Krishna? Krishna's Damba. Falsity. What is the falsity that Krishna is manifesting? The tears. So the false tears are now profusely flowing from the eyes of Krishna. That I am almost going to die by starvation. I have not eaten in such a long time. I was eating little bit. Even that has been taken away from me. So look at me. I'm in such a pathetic situation. So Damba, the false tears are falling from Krishna. So similarly, all the lamentation in this material world is false. People lament for that which is fallible and useless. The real lamentation is to lament for Krishna. Everything other than that is false. Why? Because it is built on passion, it is built on ignorance, it is built on kama, krodha, damba. That because of material desires, when these are not fulfilled, one becomes angry, and when that anger consumes the person, then the lamentation appears. So just like Krishna is shedding false tears, that is the situation of the embodied jiva in the material world. That from the Kam Krodh, now Damba is appearing. Harisori gives a slightly esoteric explanation to this also. That, okay, I'll finish this verse. I'm almost, oh, this is a really long verse. So Harisori gives a slightly esoteric interpretation that he says that when a person is angry, he does many things. One of the things he does is that he stamps his feet on the ground. He says, Dharakshata. So Krishna is angry and he is inclined to do that, Dharakshata. Then he thinks, but before I came, I had promised Mother Earth that I will protect her. Dhara is earth. So he says that I should not do Dharakshata, I should do Adharakshata. So Adhar is not the ground. Adhar also means lips. So that is why he is clenching his lips. That let me not go back on my promise to Mother Earth. So another interpretation of Adhar, the lips of Krishna. Adhar also means that which is falling. So one can consider this to refer to the milk on the pot that was falling. So when Krishna witnesses the milk on the pot falling, he's thinking that for that Adhara, you are abandoning me. But actually, even he is under my control. So he clenches his lips. So again, lips is Adhara, and the falling of the milk on the pot is Adhara. Yet another interpretation, and this one is really interesting, that continuing with the understanding that Adhara means fallen, Harisuri says that the teeth are called Dvija. One of the names of teeth are Dvija because you get two teeth. Once when you are a child, you get baby teeth and they fall off, and then you get your second teeth.
Twice born.
So,
Twice born.
Twice born, right? Now, Dvija is also Brahmins because they are born twice, right? One is the seminal birth from the mother, and the second is during the initiation. So, when Krishna is clenching his adhar by the Dvija, he is saying that when I see people falling, I send my devotees to rescue them. So the Dvija, they, on my instructions, they go and then they instruct the adharas, those who are falling, and thereby they rescue them. So when Krishna breaks the pot, he makes a point not to eat the yogurt from the pot. What he does is that he goes away from the house. So Mother Yashoda had, there were many houses and there was a common courtyard. So he goes away from one house and goes to another house over there. So he rejects the yogurt from the pot. Why does he reject the yogurt? Because the process of making butter is milk to yogurt and yogurt to butter. Krishna will accept the butter but not the yogurt. So Krishna is bhava bhajana. The butter is present in the milk and the butter is present in the yogurt. Right? And Krishna accepts the butter. So that is the mood of Krishna, that he accepts the essence of devotion. The butter is present in a diluted form in the yogurt and even more diluted form in the milk. But he accepts the butter. So when we are executing devotional service, sometimes we have these self-doubts. That I am executing bhakti with so many material desires. I have so many shortcomings. And is it even worth for me to approach Krishna with all these contaminations? But Krishna is butter thief. He takes the essence of devotion. He takes the intent from our heart. Just like he is not taking the yogurt but the butter, he goes to another house and starts eating butter over there. So in the same way, Krishna, he will not look at that our butter is now contaminated with yogurt and milk. He will still take the butter. So Krishna is also scared that his mother is going to obviously find out and punish him. So he's planning his defense ahead of time. So why does he go to the other house and start eating butter? He thinks that when Mother Yashoda will come, then he will say, Maya, I was starving. You left me starving. Shame on you. Now I am somehow getting by eating this little butter that I found. Otherwise, I would probably have fallen unconscious by now. So, there is no fault of mine that I reacted in this way because you left me starving. See, I am now eating a little bit of butter just to keep my body and soul together. So, that's why he goes there and begins to eat the butter. So, next verse we will do next time. We'll stop over here. I'll pause and see if there's any comments, any discussion. Okay, if not, then we'll start with the Damodar.
I was just thinking that every little move of Krishna has so many meanings to it, and how the Vaishnavacharyas have, analyzed and given the interpretations or the meanings which apparently, not apparently, I mean, we definitely wouldn't have understood on our own. But then I have this thing that's bothering me, the thought that, I mean, Krishna knew that Yashoda is doing this for him, that whole churning of the yogurt. She was working hard to make a good yogurt out of it, and why did he have to get so upset about it? 2 सेकंड के लिए छोड़ के गई बेचारी उठा के तोड़ दिया वो
So
कोई
it's
मतलब है
the so it's the beauty of the rainbow. Like the white color is pleasing, but the rainbow is even more pleasing, right? Because it has all those colors manifested. So yeah, the primary rasa is vatsalya, loving devotion and loving appreciation of the devotion. But then when it gets mixed with anger and humor and bewilderment, and Krishna is Rasaraj. He is expert in tasting all the rasas. So in our spiritual world, there is, so like in the Islamic conception, when you die, you go to nothingness, the peacefulness of nothingness. In the Christian conception, when you go to the spiritual world, then you play a harp and music and angels, everything is upaseta. In our spiritual world, everything is full of emotions. There is anger, there is humor, there is chivalry.
Drama. Lot
There
of
is
drama.
so much drama going on.
Oh my gosh.
Every day there is drama going on.
yeah.
But all of it is saturated with bliss. Right? You can imagine every day, everybody is behaving perfectly. After some time you will get bored. That, let's do something else. Krishna, he creates drama every moment over there. If it's not with Yashoda Mai, it's with the gopis. Not with the gopis, with the gopas. Nothing else, he gets demons to create drama. So he's creating drama every moment. Can you imagine the life of the Brajvasis for the 11 years that Krishna lived with them? Every day new drama happening. Sometimes there's a snake in the pond. Sometimes there's a fire in the forest. Sometimes there is rain falling. All the elements conspire to create drama.
Question. So, I mean, we are listening about this Yashoda and Damodar Lila, but how about Nanda Maharaj? Never heard about anything from Nanda Maharaj, any Leelas, any from him side and Krishna?
There are pastimes in Nanda also. There are pastimes. He comes as the hero in this pastime.
Oh, is it?
But there are other pastimes also. Govardhan Lila. And, when Nand Baba is kidnapped by Varun, then is there.
Okay.
But Yashodamai is more plays a slightly more prominent role.
Probably the personality that you're talking about, who is giving these interpretations, Hari, you said the name.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hari, sorry. Did we talk about it probably in the beginning of the class, or did I miss that? Yesterday.
I'm sorry. He's one of the more. So his commentary on the Bhagavatam is called Rasaya, which gives us a sense of his commentary. It's full of mellows. Very advanced devotee. Lived about 200 years ago in Nasik. And one day he got a vision from Krishna that you write a commentary.
Okay.
And he said, I can't write a commentary. You're not like a scholar or anything like that, so I can't write a commentary. No, you write it. So on the instructions of Krishna he wrote it. And his is the only commentary that is completely in poetry. other commentaries are mixture of poetry and prose. He has written a commentary on every verse, and his commentary is in Sanskrit, and it's in poetry. Which he says, not possible, I could not have done. So not only are you speaking about matters that are highly philosophical, you're composing them in beautiful poetry.
Now it's making sense. It's a vision of Krishna due to which he could write. Because the same situations that you were explaining in a very nice, melodious way can also be interpreted a little differently, right? The boiling milk is creating a kind of interruption in the bhakti process between Yashoda Mai and this thing. But the way we looked at it in this Lila and coming from Krishna's vision, now it's adding up.
Because everybody there is a devotee.
Yeah. Just the other day in the Bhagavatam class, the class was going on, and one devotee, she came with a deity. She wanted to put it over in the background because it was missing. It was supposed to be at the beginning of the class, but the teacher got a little upset that you cannot do this aparadha of interrupting when this conversation is going on. And you could have let it not be there, the deity, even though it was the right thing. So I was just thinking from that perspective, causing the interruption versus doing the right thing.
Yeah. Ultimately, bhakti is, or practical aspect of executing bhakti is prioritizing and making the right choices.
Yeah.
Did we answer the question? He told me he wants the recording to stop and then he'll ask the question. I said, you can ask now. You can ask. I'm shy.
You're not in the recording right now. The camera is facing a different direction.
Go ahead, it's okay. You can ask.
So, how did Yashoda get the opportunity to be with Krishna in this life? And also, why did Yashoda not understand that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Like, after he saw him slay multiple demons, Putana, Sakta, Shoda, all those demons, Yashoda still refused to believe that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why?
Both of them are very good questions. So there are certain jivas who are eternal associates of Krishna. So Yashoda Mai is always a mother of Krishna. Whether in Vrindavan, whether in spiritual world, she always has that position. How did she get that position? Because of her devotion to Krishna. Right? So we can get a position serving Mother Yashoda by our devotion also. There's only one way to get association of Krishna is by devotion. Second question is very interesting, that why didn't she see the supremacy of Krishna, right? That's the question. So we'll discuss this more later on, but Krishna has this energy of his which is called Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is, literally speaking, the illusory energy of Krishna. With his Yogamaya, Krishna covers his devotees, by which they forget his supremacy. So it's not that Yashoda Mai had amnesia or she had limited intelligence. She was supremely intelligent. But she was also, for the pleasure of increasing the interaction, Krishna covers his pure devotees by his Yogamaya. So for instance, let's assume your father becomes the president of the US. So when he is in office, then everybody is scared of him, that the president has come, and he carries with him the red button by which he can push and nuke the rest of the world. Very, very powerful, correct? But when he comes home, then even though you may know that he is the president of the US, does not matter to you. You will still play with him, you will still jump on his back, you will ask him to become a horse. Does not mean that you are not aware of the power of the president or the position of the president. It just doesn't matter to you. What matters more is that this is my father, I love him, and we have to play together. So same way, Mother Yashoda, she's seen Krishna doing all these extraordinary things. But it doesn't matter to her. What matters to her is, this is my son. And I have to take care of him, I have to feed him, I have to protect him. That's the mood of the pure devotees of the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful question.
You're welcome.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we'll stop over here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Jai Gaur.
Hari Hari Bol.